Hello everyone, Minglawa. I'm Wilbert, a Jesuit from Myanmar. Currently, I'm in charge of the Jesuit candidacy program and Jesuit vocation promotion in our mission. Not many people outside of the country may know where it is, but Myanmar is a Southeast Asian country with 55 million population and more than 135 major ethnic groups. Buddhists are the majority with more than 80% of the population, but Catholics are only about 1.3% of it. Internal wars have been waging in the country for around 7 decades, and so genuine peace is something we've been yearning so much for so long. I can truly relate to what Pope Francis said about peace in his encyclical Fratelli Tutti. Please allow me to share with you a summary of Chapter 7, Parts of Renewed Encounter, and a special topic, Peacemaking and Reconciliation. The chapter is a heartfelt invitation of Pope Francis for everyone to become brave and creative peacemakers, because the world's open wounds need healing through the paths of peace. Peace means both the absence of war and the commitment to truly recognize, protect, and restore the dignity of the least ones. Without equal opportunities, aggression and conflict will eventually explode in the face of all. The importance of this invitation dwells not only on the fact that it comes from the Pope himself, but also on its references to the bishops from various regions of the world where the need for peace is part of the daily experience. He quoted the statements from the bishops of Congo, Croatia, Latin America, South Africa, and from Asia, South Korea, the bishops with first-hand experience of dealing with peace issues. According to the Pope, the usual same old empty diplomatic talks without any real intent don't work and have never worked at all. Peacemakers need to speak about the real situations and the truth, which along with justice and mercy are essential to peacemaking, reconciliation, and forgiveness, while stopping the culture of revenge and the cycle of violence and death. Conflicts should not be buried but resolved through honest and patient dialogue. Forgetting is never the answer, because we can never move forward without remembering the past. For example, the atomic bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. It is to avoid the same destructive force and to break the vicious circle of violence. We do need to seek justice out of love for justice itself, and equal respect for every victim, and to prevent new crimes while protecting the common good. All can learn from families in which everyone contributes to the common purpose and keeps the family bond despite the distinctive identity of each person and occasional problems. Social peace building is a continuous task requiring everyone's commitment, involving ordinary people, but violent public demonstrations are not helpful at all for finding solutions. Regarding war, in this age of interconnectedness, in our globalized world, a world war is being fought part by part. Whatever scale it is, war has always been the negation of all rights. It is a failure of politics and of humanity, a shameful and hurtful submission before evil, evidenced by the refugees, displaced persons, and all victims of war, all with tragic stories. While we need to correctly understand the possibility of defending oneself militarily, we cannot think of war as a solution, because its risks will be probably greater than its supposed benefits. The so-called just war is no longer feasible. Just no more war. To avoid war, make dialogue for mutual trust and the common good, without a focus on the protection of particular interests. Pope Francis calls on nations, especially the ones with huge military budget, to divert part of the military budget to set up a global fund to end hunger and to develop poor nations so that their citizens will not resort to violent conflicts or leave their countries for a better life. Besides war, killing also happens in death penalty, which is inadequate morally and should be abolished worldwide. Punishment should be part of the process of healing and reintegration into society, but not a vindictive cruelty. Even a murderer has his personal dignity, which God pledges to guarantee. Now, please allow me to relate my own personal experience with the encyclical of Pope Francis, especially on chapter 7. Peace has been quite elusive in our country for so long, as both war and social injustice have been in place so widely. It is not a coincidence that armed conflicts happen only in the bordering states and not in a country's middle, which is not known for natural resources. The lands of the ethnic minorities in the states seem to have been cursed by abundant natural resources, as the military has been waging wars there almost constantly to control the land. Tragically, millions of innocent civilians have to bear the brunt of those wars as refugees, IDPs, and landless people. Peacemaking is what we need to do urgently. It's sad but true that ordinary farmers and poor people have been losing their land to the military and their cronies, who both use force and domination for their own selfish gain. Against such situation, the Pope says that true peace is based on service and sharing without domination and selfish accumulation. True peace is possible only through dialogue, reconciliation, and mutual development. So much wounds and deaths have happened here because of war and injustice, making forgiveness a great challenge for all of us. Forgiveness and reconciliation are central to most religions, but misunderstanding of them can lead to fatalism, apathy, and injustice. Though many people from our country believe that present misfortunes are the consequences of misdeeds in the past life, and that's their karma, that's what they believe. On the other hand, armed struggle is the reality in many parts of our country because the injustices are too much already for too many people. For Christians, it's a real dilemma, of course. Jesus tells us to forgive 70 times 7, which means without limitation. Forgiveness does not mean, however, renouncing our own rights or tolerating corrupt officials and criminals who degrade our dignity. Through goodness, reconciliation, solidarity, and peace, we need to stop oppression, repression, and prevent the oppressors from destroying the human dignity, which is a gift of God. Trying to do any meaningful dialogue with the military in our country has proven to be quite futile because they just want to have power and control. Instead, starting some small steps of unity building among ordinary people is definitely more meaningful. As Pope Francis said, friendship in society can be built on the principle that unity is greater than conflict. Individuals keep their own identities, but they resolve problems on a higher level and preserve what is valid and useful for both sides. Peacemaking is about people working together for everyone's benefit without prejudice. We must identify problems for solution and spark a new hope. And that's exactly what we've been trying to do here with our own little contribution, working especially for the ordinary and the least ones, and with that to spark a new hope. Thank you for your attention.
တောင်ကြီးမြို့ကရက်ွက်ရုံတစ်ခုမှာချက်စွတ်တွေကစာနာရိက္ခာတွေဝေမျှပေးနေချိန်လူတွေစနစ်တကျတန်းစိတ်နေခဲ့ကြပြီးလက်ခံမှုအလဲကျလာတဲ့သူက9 နှစ်လောက်အရွယ်သမီးငယ်လေးတူဖြစ်နေပါတယ်လူကြီးတွေကဘာလို့ကလေးကိုလာခိုင်းရတာလဲဆိုပြီးဝိုင်းမေးကြဆိုင်အိတ်နဲ့တခြားပစ္စည်းတွေကိုတည်နိုင်မှာမဟုတ်ဘူးလို့ဝိုင်းပြီးပြောကြပါတယ်ကလေးငယ်လေးကတော့မျက်နှာငယ်လေးနဲ့ပြန်မပြောနိုင်ပေမဲ့အနီးကချူချူတတမေးကြည့်တော့မှသူ့အမေကနေမကောင်းဘူးအဖေကနေစာအလုပ်သွားလုပ်တယ်လို့တိုးတိုးလေးပြောရှာပါတယ်တောင်ကြီးမြို့မှာဒီလိုအကူအညီလိုအပ်နေတဲ့လက်လုံလက်စားတွေထဲကမိသားစုပေါင်း600ကိုချက်စွတ်တွေကအစားအစာဝေမျှပေးပါတယ်သူတို့အများပိုင်းကမြေပြန့်ပိုင်းကတက်လာကြတဲ့ပြောင်းရွှေ့အလုပ်သမားတွေဖြစ်ကြပြီးမြို့ရဲ့အစွန်ပိုင်းကျဉ်းကျပ်တဲ့နေရာတွေမှာအိမ်ငှားနေကြပါတယ်ကပ်ဘေးယောဂကြောင့်အလုပ်တွေမလုပ်နိုင်ကြတဲ့အတွက်စားဝတ်နေရေးပုံမှုခက်ခဲလာကြတဲ့အချိန်အနည်းငယ်မြတ်တက်တာနိုင်ကြဖို့ လူသားချင်းစာနာပြီးဖခင်ရဲ့ချစ်ချင်းမြတ်တာကိုဝေမျှခံစားစေလိုတဲ့အတွက်ကူညီပေးခဲ့ကြတာဖြစ်ပါတယ်